Well, good evening. Hope all of you are doing well. This is Total OS Today, total technology for beginners and beyond. Beyond the stars. Speaking of stars, Star Trek Strange New Worlds is an excellent new TV series on Paramount Plus. Check it out. The Voyages of the Starship Enterprise. All right, for this evening, this is a late night podcast. It's been a while since I've done something late night. I actually got home a little bit late, spending time with some friends, late coffee. I'm all jacked up on caffeine for this evening. So we're going to talk a little bit about Windows versus Linux for this Total OS podcast. This stream was unannounced. Hopefully someone will pop in the chat, maybe from the west coast of the country. I'm in Ohio. So if you're in California time, that would be 8:23 p.m. It is 11:23 p.m. here in Ohio. Not ready for bed, so I thought I would do this. Windows versus Linux. What's better? Heck if I know. But we'll talk about it. Maybe you guys will have some ideas. I am just listening to my dad's music as usual. My dear dad, Salvatore. Let me take a quick chat here, a quick gander here in the chat. See if anybody pops in. Jeff Kelly is in the house. Senor Kelly. Buenos dias. How are you, my friend? He is also having coffee here in Wisconsin. Okay, so what? It is 9:24 there? Jeff, am I correct? If my time zone served me correct, hope you're doing well. Yeah, I think I've out coffeeed myself tonight, Jeff. I'm drinking lime seltzer water for this evening. Oh, it's 10:24. Sorry. Okay, very good. Welcome. Okay, if anybody else is in the chat and wants to say hello, please do. I'm guessing, Jeff, you can hear me just fine. So we'll talk a little about Windows versus Linux. I've had 4 successful installs of Windows 11. Now, what I mean by successful is that no glitches. 4 successful installs of Windows in different machines. Sounds good? Okay, Jeff, thank you. The last install I did was for a Toshiba Satellite, dual core. Nothing fancy. Pretty much outdated machines. Yeah, really more suited for Linux, you would think, than Windows. But I have to tell you, I would consider Windows 11 fairly lightweight compared to, say, Ubuntu or Deepin Linux or some other bloated ones. I am stunned. And you know me, I like to make fun of technology sometimes when it is well deserved. Can't do it. Windows 11 has been so disappointing that I cannot make fun of it. I mean, disappointing as in I can't make jokes for Windows 11. Now, Microsoft, you need to stop it. You need to screw up Windows 11 so I can start making jokes. Come on. But no, all jokes aside, Windows 11 so far, compared to Linux, has been a complete joy to use. Again, 4 successful installs of Windows 11 in a row. No problemo. Was not expecting that, but it is what it is. Oh, this lime seltzer water tastes really good tonight after drinking coffee late. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, 4 successful installs of Windows 11. I installed Chrome OS Flex multiple times. Pretty good too. Chrome OS Flex should be your first choice for your Linux destination if you are coming from a Windows machine. So Jeff says you use Debian on a Core 2 quad. Okay. Debian's good. Debian stable is very good. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, so Chrome OS Flex on multiple machines. Pretty good. Linux Mint. 3 separate installs in a row. In fact, this machine here, for those of you watching, let me just transition. I am running Windows 11 for this evening, a fresh install of Windows 11 as you see here. Dual booting on 2 SSDs, separate SSDs of course, with Linux Mint Mate. 3 installs of Linux Mint, successful installs, no problem. So Windows versus Linux, which is better? I guess that's up to you. What do you need your operating system for? If you like to game a lot, I would probably stick with Windows. All things considered. You can game on Linux, of course. If you like to customize, tinker, you like surprises, you like to solve puzzles, problems, then maybe Linux is the way to go. Although Linux has gotten better over the years. Now when I say Linux, some Linux, a very, very, very small percentage of Linux-based systems can compete with Windows. There are about 600 different variations of Linux out there. A very small percentage, very small, can compete with the quality of Windows 11, in my opinion. Chromebooks compete very nicely. Chrome OS Flex, the free version of Linux, competes very well. Linux Mint, Zorn, excellent. If you're looking for an alternative or a replacement for your Windows 10 machine or Windows 11, if you don't want to use Windows anymore, a little more private, a little more secure, although Windows 11 is certainly secure if you run all the security updates. Nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, Mint is nice. You've used Debian for 22 years. Wow. I love the Mate desktop also, Jeff. There's something to be said about simplicity. Simple. Just click and go. I love a click and go system where you don't have to use the terminal to fix anything or to solve puzzles, as it were. So, yeah, it just works. It just works. I really should have combined this seltzer water with some red wine tonight, but I think I ran out of wine. And anyway, so Jeff, yes, Linux. Oh, Tim is in the house. Timo. Good evening, my friend. How are you? It's been a while. Welcome. Timo is the Ubuntu master. Tim, are you still running Ubuntu? I'm going to have to buy me some more seltzer water, too. Anyway, yeah, tonight, Tim, we're just a little bit about Windows versus Linux, having some fun with this. So, good to have you here on the live podcast, Tim. Hope you are doing well. As I was saying, I did 4 successful installs of Windows 11, multiple successful installs of Linux Mint, Chrome OS Flex. Ubuntu for me has been a failure, Tim. I know it works for you, and that's fantastic. But for me, it's been a failure. Wah, wah. Yeah, so I no longer mess with standard Ubuntu. Yeah, it's been kind of disappointing in a way. So yeah, so I guess Tim, Ubuntu's still solid for you, right? So Linux versus Windows, which is better? I guess it all depends on your personal experience. If you've installed Linux in the past and it didn't work out for you, maybe that's a good reason to stick with Windows. Maybe you downloaded the wrong version of Linux. Maybe you should not have downloaded Gentoo Linux or Arch Linux or Linux from scratch, BSD. Certainly not for Windows users. Linux Mint, you should have had good luck. Zorin, you should have had good luck. Chrome OS Flex, you should have had good luck with it. Again, those are 3 out of the possible 600 combinations of Linux-based systems. Again, a very, very small percentage are good. And there's some others. Certainly there's Linux Mint. Linux Lite. That's not bad, too. So for Linux versus Windows, after 4 successful installs of Windows 11, it is Windows 11 might be a good reason to not use Linux. I'm not saying that's what you should do. Okay? It is just a personal observation. I know, Tim. Tim says, you know me, Carmenutz. Windows is sacrilege. I completely understand, and you should not be using Windows if that's what you want to do. I completely get it. No problemo. But for me, Windows 11 has been a complete joy. As I stated before, I can't make fun of it. That part has been disappointing. I like to make fun of systems when they break. For example, when I tried to install Ubuntu, Tim, I had no sound. My sound device said, dummy output. Well, thank you, Ubuntu. I think you are a freaking dummy also. But Windows 11, nothing's broken. So if nothing breaks, how could I make fun of it? Right? Trust me, when something breaks in Windows 11, you guys will be the first to know. But as of tonight, Windows versus Linux podcast, so far, 4 different installs of Windows 11. Nothing is broken. Nothing needs to be fixed. That is virtually impossible. But so far, it is what it is. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It just works. Of course, Linux Mint just works too, for the most part. I've had to download a few Flatpak versions of software because their normal versions in the repository didn't quite work right. Minor gripes, nothing, nothing that makes me want to say, oh no, to Linux. Nothing like that, But Windows 11, I don't know, man. Linux is tough to compete with a virtually perfect system like Windows 11. So far, I stress so far, in 4 different installs, works pretty darn good on outdated machines that are at least 10 years old. Remember last year before? Don't use Windows 11. It sucks. On older hardware, you'll be throwing your machines away. Wrong answer. I installed Windows 11 on a Windows 7 machine. Dual core, 8 gigs of RAM. That's it. Now, granted, it's not the zippiest of machines like a newer one, but that's not the point. Windows 11, I would consider it fairly lightweight to some Linux-based systems. Windows versus Linux, the choice is entirely yours. You can't go wrong with Windows 11. You can certainly do fine with some, I stress some, very few Linux-based systems. There are only 2 Linux-based systems out there. One for beginners, and then there's everything else. Period. All right, so Tim says, honestly, I have not been on my computers in a while. Been really busy with taking care of Mom, episode of Mother's Day. Oh, I live in the hospital, but she's doing okay. Oh, God bless. I hear you, Tim. Glad she's okay. Very good. If there's anybody else in the chat who wants to say hello, besides my friends here, please do. I do these shows at random times to try to get some other people who don't normally chime in to say hello. I have no plans for this evening. It is late for me, but that's okay. I will stick around with my friends. What's that song by the Beatles? Oh, I get by a little help from my friends. And that's how I feel tonight, so why not? Tonight's music you might hear in the background barely is, of course, the music is provided by Dad. Thank you, Dad. If you haven't already, check out some of Dad's tunes on salvatorePate.thebandicamp.com. It's a very nice. She's so nice, the music. Anyway. La 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 la. Oh, thank you so much, Tim. Tim says, "Don't worry, Tuss. The Carlo Rossi fund is still open." Yeah, I'm about due for a refill. Thank you so much. You know, it's people like Tim and just friends here, Jeff, everybody else. Not just the supporters of the channel, but the friends I've made over the years that it's been a joy to use Linux and to meet, at least virtually, friends like you. I wish I had the resources to fly out to meet each and every one of you personally to say it's been a complete joy. If my dad can ever sell his movie, that's going to be one of the things I want to do. But that's a different story. So, yes. Yes, absolutely, Jeff. Prayers for Tim's mom. Absolutely. Mama is number one, right? The song is called "You Are the Most Beautiful," sung by my dad's friend Dario. Anyway. I run Windows 11 and Linux Mint Mate on a Dell Optiplex 7010, another outdated machine that works very well with both Linux Mint and Windows 11. Maxed out the RAM to 16 gigs. Works pretty good. So I'm still using it. If anybody else who is new, might be new, is watching, don't be shy. Say hello. If you have a question, ask or just say hello. That's what we're here for. Yes. Tim says, that's one of the reasons Linux is number one to me. The friendships that have been made in the last 9 years you've been on Linux. I hear you, Tim. Now, this is not to say that you can't make friends, Windows friends, Mac OS friends. I'm not saying that. I don't have a Mac, so I don't know. But that being said, I agree, Tim. Absolutely agree. Linux is number one because of the friends. I totally get it. We have Eric is in the house. Eric, if you are new, everybody please say hello to Eric. Welcome to the podcast for tonight. Eric, it's great to have you here. And if you wish, you can tell what operating system you use. You can tell us if you use Windows, Linux, or not, or something else. Hello, Eric. You know what's funny? My dad, who was back in Italy, bought a new computer, but he gave it to a friend who runs a photo technology business shop. And when my dad needs to send me a video or something, he just tells his friend, "You do it for free because I bought you the computer." So that's my dad's experience with computers. True story. Eric says Windows 10. Okay. Eric, have you thought about updating to Windows 11? And how has Windows 10 worked out for you? I no longer use Windows 10. All my machines now are going to be either... well, I take that back. I think one machine may still have Windows 10. But pretty much Windows 11. Windows 11, Linux Mint, and Chromebooks for me. Eric, have you ever messed with Linux? Just out of curiosity. So Tim, you got Linux on all of your machines. Excellent. Nothing wrong with that. If Windows 11 was a disaster, I would probably just use Linux, Tim. Yeah. But it works. It's been a complete joy. Windows 11 is what Ubuntu should have been. Virtually perfect, but no, it's not. Of course, next year Ubuntu will put out an immutable Ubuntu OS. Not new. Chromebooks have been doing it for years, so maybe that might be better. I don't know. It's just a choice, but we'll see what happens. Yep, Jeff says the only windows I use is to let air into the house. That works too. I think one of the reasons I still use Windows, some things are just easier to install. Like those of you watching this podcast, you can see the waveform that I installed. With Windows, it's one click. You can do this. You can install this option, this plugin in Linux too, but there's multiple steps. It's just easier in Windows. Yeah, Tim says Ubuntu MX, Antics, Debian. Arch is above your pay scale, Tim. It's above. I've messed with Archbase in the past. I think it's above my scale also. Yeah, I would have to agree there. Arch is great if you want to tinker, but for me, forget about it. Speaking of Windows 10, Eric, I think you'll get 2 more years of support from Microsoft. And I believe it ends in 2025, so you'll have to upgrade to Windows 11 or do something else, if I recall correctly. Which is one of the reasons why I no longer use Windows 10. me refresh the chat here, make sure I didn't miss anyone. Do that. Okay. There we go. Yeah. Just hit your hand with a hammer, you will get the same effect as using Gentoo and Arch. But a bump bump. Ksh. Yeah. Seems that way. Chromebooks are based off of Gentoo. Go figure. Of course, there's nothing to install. Yep, hammer is not required for Linux Mint, Zorn, or Chrome OS Flex. I agree, Tim. Chromebooks are awesome. 100% agree with that. They just don't break down. I have yet to have something break in the Chromebook. Seriously, perfect. Nothing to fix, no terminal to use. They just work. Which should be impossible. Chromebooks do the impossible. Linux with no bugs. Oh yeah. At least none that I've seen, right? Yeah. Yeah, I got 2 of them. So far, so good. And super fast, too. Chromebooks Chromebooks is Linux on steroids. Pure speed. Eric, have you ever tried a Chromebook, by the way? Yes, Tim, they are. Chromebooks are the Linux standard. Yep, absolutely. They've been around since 2011. They are a global Linux standard because they just work. 100% agree. Yep. All right, so Jeff says both your Acer Chromebooks have expired. You can still use them. Check out Lacrosse browser for Chromebooks. That's what I did on my Acer. Expired. You can still run the browser. Updated browser, Linux browser called Lacrosse, just like it sounds. Search that, and you will still be able to use your Chromebook. It'll be somewhat limited, but you can still use it and still get the updates on the Chrome browser. I think the new Chromebooks you get 8 years of updates or more. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all, you know. There's always deals on Chromebooks, by the way. All kinds of Chromebooks, 2-in-1 Chromebooks, small ones, big ones. Usually starting about $200 and go up. Not bad at all. Anybody else is new wants to say hello? Please do. All right, we are closing in on midnight my time. I'll stick around for a little bit longer in case somebody else hops in the chat for a comment or a question for this Linux, Windows versus Linux podcast. A Dell Micro with the Core i3 and a Dell laptop i3 from the library book sale for $75. Wait, Jeff, you bought two Dells for $75? Really? Okay. Both of those are good candidates for Linux, Core i3s. So, oh, thank you, Tim. Just sent to Carlo Rossi. Yes, I will be refueling tomorrow with Sweet Red. Thank you so much. That's a good deal, Jeff. If they work. How much RAM in those machines, by the way, Jeff? 4 gigs of RAM. Well, that's all you need to run Chrome OS for. Chrome OS Flex. You need 4 gigs of RAM. So that would be a candidate for that, maybe. Yeah, 4 gigs is all you need. Both have SSD. Okay, well, that's going to help. Absolutely, yeah. You can check out my dad's tunes. I put the website there in the chat, if you haven't checked out my dad's tunes from Italia. Yeah, SSDs have come down in price too. Very affordable, starting at about about 25 bucks and up. Any SSD is going to be faster than a standard hard drive. I started with Linux back in 2006, believe it or not, with Ubuntu, and here I am. Who knew? Da 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 da. Yeah, Jeff says, I thought Ubuntu Mate was your gold standard. Well, it was for a while, Jeff, and it's still very good. But I have to tell you, after messing with a couple Chromebooks and Chrome OS Flex, once again, it is the only global Linux standard. Now, Ubuntu Mate is very good. Linux Mint, multiple installs, very good. Zorn. But to get technical, what is a global or a gold standard? It would have to be Chromebooks and Chrome OS Flex. Yeah. So Tim, you started in 2014 and followed me since then. Very good. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah, I started doing the channel in 2010. You know, I met some other Linuxers along the way. It's been an interesting journey, to say the least. Tim, do you use a tablet or a laptop, or it's strictly desktop for you? Yes, we are family in Linux. Absolutely. Yes. Sister Sledge, remember them? We are family. I got my Linux in me. Right? Amore mio. Linux, you are my love. Desktop and laptop, Tim? Okay, cool. Linux, you are my love. He's not singing that, but I'm just throwing in the words. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Well, what do you know? It is 12:02 a.m. local time. I haven't done a late show like this in a while. Maybe I should do like a late show fundraiser for the channel or something, so I can upgrade all my equipment here, you know. Late night with Toss and Carlo Rossi. Ha ha. La da 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 da. The love of Linux never dies. The song is actually called True Love Never Dies, but fill in the blanks. Oh. That's right, Tim. Joe did build your computer, last computer. Yes, of course I remember. Very good. It was Jeff just made me laugh. I have to compose myself. Give me a second here, but it's pretty funny. Jeff says, I drive my wife crazy going around the house singing Stable Arch Machine. It's an inside joke, but last year I went to see what's his name from the Beatles, Ringo Starr in Pittsburgh and Friends. And he sang, "We all lived in the yellow submarine." Well, you know me, I changed the words. We all live in a stable arch machine, a stable arch machine. I know I got a twisted Linux mind, but hey, I thought it was clever and funny. We all live in a... Oh, Jeff, tell your wife, I humbly apologize. That was not my intention. I'm sure she's a wonderful woman. She probably thinks I'm a nut, deservedly so to be called that, but I just think it's hilarious. We all live in a stable arch machine. Of course, that's kind of like an oxymoron, putting stable and arch in the same sentence, you know. But that was the words that came to my head. Oh, that's so funny. I promise not to make up any more songs like that. Although in August I might go see Chrissie Hynde and the Pretenders. Back on the Chain Gang. Come on, baby, dun 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 dun. Get in the road, dun 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 dun. Dun dun dun. Ah, funny stuff. She's yes, Chrissie Hynde is awesome. Still cranking out the albums. She's got the new album coming out next month, I think. The Pretenders. I believe the album is called Relentless. Good title. Baci, baci, baci. Kisses, kisses, kisses. That's what he's singing. My dad's friend. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Stable arch machine. Da, 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 da. Anyway, of course, the question is, what comes after in the future after Linux and Windows, if anything, right? Yeah, I spoke with Joe, what was it, about a week or so ago? We did a quick news nonsense that you may have seen on funny signs around the world. I saw a sign the other day in front of a bakery. It said, mini dog nuts on sale. Instead of donuts, mini dog nuts. Yeah, okay. But a bump. Yeah, just having fun tonight. Because that's what us unstable guys do, right? Mini dog nuts on sale. That was an actual sign. Doesn't anybody proofread anymore? Another sign was clean staff and friendly restrooms. Well, just how friendly are they? Ba 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 boo. Speaking of funny, search YouTube of this is real of a dog on top of some guy's speedboat in a lake in Florida, and the camera's facing forward, so the dog is on top of the deck, and just as this guy's racing down the water, his dog starts taking a dump right on top. It is the most ridiculous, funniest thing I've ever seen. This dog is just taking a dump as this guy is flying across the lake on his speedboat. For real. Da, 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 da. Yep, it's on the web, Tim. Check it out. It's a short clip, but man, I've never seen that before. It's funny. All right, just a few more minutes and I guess I'll call it a night, late night. If anybody else is watching and wants to say hello, please do. Then we'll wrap this up for tonight for Windows versus Linux versus the Stable Arch Machine. Stable Arch Machine. Yeah. Jeff says, you know, none of us are going to bed until we see the dog on the boat. I hear you. Let me see if I can find it. Let me do this. Maybe I'll screen share and show it to you. Give me a second here. Okay. All right. I found the video. Let me see if I can screen share this. Again, this video does not belong to me, of course. But I found the video. Let me just share the screen here. And I'll play this. Dog pooing on a boat. Let me crank it up here. And we'll do this, okay? Hopefully this will play. Let me see here. All right, here we go. All right, that's enough. Anyway, there you go. The famous dog poo on a boat. How does that dog like keep his balance? And just and you can see the rolls of Tootsie Rolls rolling off the boat. Oh my Lord. It is funny. It's just so unusual. That's a pretty good trick. Yeah. Oh man. Anyway. Yeah. Hi Mark, welcome. It says total Windows today. Well, it's been Linux and Windows talk and some dog. Yeah, Tim says that dog was scared shitless. I can say it on this family channel. Yes, it was completely clueless. After that, right on the boat. The things that make men laugh, right? How are you, Mark? What's new with you? Anything you want to share with us, Mark, about Windows, Linux, Chromebooks? Just about ready to wrap this up. Unless we get a whole much more people in the chat, then I guess I'll stay. But yeah, it's 12:17 a.m. here in Ohio, so it's past my beauty sleep.
Ma quando tu non hai, non non ti guardano in
Mark had your graduation the other day. Very good.
Con le bugie in bocca.
Congratulations.
L'amico che hai creduto, col denaro l'hai perduto. Oh, ci son cascato, oh, sono fregato. L'amico che piangeva, è solo un falso vero.
Mark
Oh,
uses
ci son cascato.
Debian 12 and Wayne.
Sono
Okay.
fregato.
Debian's good. I've messed with it in the past. It's not bad.
Ti voglio tutta
I've heard very good
mia,
things about
ti
the latest
voglio
Debian.
sempre mia, per tutta vita mia, così l'amore mio, gli amici sono amici.
Yeah, the video NVIDIA dryer, NVIDIA drivers, not dryers. Playing with Waylon, not playing well. Yeah. All right, Tim. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for the contribution. Greatly appreciate it. I'm gonna refill my wine tomorrow. Yeah, Mark, I don't experiment anymore. Those days are gone. Pretty much sticking with Windows 11, Linux Mint.
Andate a lavorare, io ho lavorato notte e giorno, basta ora, ci son cascato, sono fregato, l'amico trova scusa.
Let me turn down the music. Sorry, I still had it up. Tim, take care. We'll have to do a private chat here. One of these weekends we'll get all of us together, man. It has been so hard since the pandemic and post-pandemic to get all of us together, man. People catching up with life. It's been a challenge, but yeah. Mark was running Linux Mint Debian Edition 5 for the last year. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I don't mess with Waylon, Mark. It's just not ready. I mean, there's been talk of it for years, and yeah. Yes, taking care of mom can be very demanding. I completely understand, Tim. Totally get it. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Windows 11 on multiple machines, the Linux Mint Mate for now, and the Chromebooks. Nothing to fix, nothing to tinker with. So Waylon works with AMD laptops? Okay, cool. You know, somebody mentioned that Chromebooks aren't good because you can't customize them. Well, that's true. You can't customize, but they're not made for that because they're made to work. When you start customizing and tinkering, things can break. Google does not want you to break anything. That's what Chromebooks are designed for, just to be maintenance free. So while you cannot, tinker and customize them, that's what the other Linux is for. If you just want Linux to work, then you stick with the Chromebook or Chrome OS Flat. Yeah, Total Chrome OS. Yeah, that'll be my next channel, Total Chrome OS Today. Yes. But if you just want Linux to work and not tinker with, then maybe a Chromebook is for you. So I don't think we've solved the debate, which is better, Windows versus Linux. The best one is the one that works for you. Thank you, Tim. You are my Linux brother for life, and everyone in our Linux community. We are all Linux brothers. Very good. Mark, I no longer use Ubuntu because Ubuntu called me a dummy output.
And it was disrespectful to the Godfather family, so I called Uncle Guido and we fixed the problem, Mark.
But yeah. Take care, Tim. Catch you next time, my friend. Yeah, Ubuntu has been disappointing. It's just, yeah. I mean, if it works for you, use it. But for me, nah, not anymore. Just, what's the word? Ubuntu is erratic. Well, Mark. He says, come on, Toss, there is no debate. Linux by far. Well, that depends. Windows 11, I installed Windows 11 on 4 machines. It has been perfect. On machines as old as 2011. Windows 11 is pretty good. That's just the way it is. But Linux is good too. Some. I have to stress, some Linux. Not all 600 of them. A few Linux is very good. I totally agree. You know, your Linux Mints, your Zorans, Chrome OS Flex, the global standard. And for some, Linux is the only way. Nothing wrong with that. I still prefer to dual boot. I still want to have both. Frostbite is in the house. What's up, mate? Jeff has a question about antivirus on Windows. The only antivirus I use is the one that's built in. Jeff, I don't run anything. You know, sometimes I'll run Malwarebytes or something like that. But as far as the antivirus itself, I don't. I just use the one that's built in, and it seems to work so far. Oh, the notification just popped up for you, Frostbite? I've been off for over an hour. That's kind of late, but it's good to have you here. Red Hat trying to go closed source or something, Mark? I don't know. It doesn't really affect me, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're just hanging out tonight, Frostbite, for a little longer Windows versus Linux podcast. Wow, Jeff, you have not used Windows since '98. Wow. Yeah, I use Windows for certain things. Most of the time, it's going to be either my Chromebook or my Linux Mint. Yeah. Could affect a lot of servers, Mark. I don't know. Yeah, the machines I installed Windows 11 on, 4 of them so far, the install has been flawless. Very impressive. Yeah, the music player themes with Windows XP are iconic. Yeah. Yep, the Quicksilver skin. Sure, I remember. Yeah. All right, I am closing in 12:30 a.m. local time. Last call for questions or comments before we wrap it up. It's been great chatting with all of you tonight. Thank you so much for stopping by. Anybody else is new, is watching by chance, wants to say hello? All right, I think we're good then. Good night to you, Jeff. Good night to all. This has been a pleasure, as usual. And keep in touch. You guys know how to reach me, and I'll catch you on the next one for more Linux versus Windows. The battle of the OSs. Like Godzilla versus Kong. I think there's another, speaking of that, there's another Godzilla Kong movie coming. I think this time they're a team. Yeah, I think they team up to defeat the arch enemy. Because we all live in a stable arch machine. A stable, that one's for... All right, I'm done before someone smacks me in the face. Mark needs to walk the dog. Okay, good. At this rate, Microsoft will sponsor. Look, I use Windows 11. I will take a sponsor from Microsoft. I need to upgrade my stuff here. Yeah, I'll take him for a boat ride. But a bump. Bye-bye.